A number of eye-catching mega development projects are currently in progress around the nation. Among them, highways, a mini-city, ports and airports. But also thriving in the industry are waste, corruption and construction bottlenecks. And the issue of city slums and their inhabitants are causing more than a headache or two for the powers that be. We asked Deshabandhu Surath Wickramasinghe, President of the Chamber of Construction Industry Sri Lanka, whether he's happy with what's happening on the infrastructure front. Hello Surath, welcome to Benchmark. Good to have you on the show. Now you must be extremely happy about what's happening development-wise, not only nationally, that's to Sri Lanka in general, but also to our commercial capital here in Colombo.
We are doing quite a lot in different sectors, but when you compare what is going on in China, Vietnam, India, I think we have to take a cue from them because their expansion is so rapid. Now, for argument's sake, if you go to any of these mega cities in India, you can see the amount of infrastructure that is happening there and has happened. India, they have an infrastructure development fund. Now, this fund is generating a lot of additional new work. Now, in Sri Lanka, unfortunately, we don't have an infrastructure development fund. I think our chamber has been trying to promote this. I hope that it will happen because that will facilitate lots of infrastructure projects in the different sectors of water supply, of drainage, roads, such infrastructure which the country requires very urgently.
So what in particular catches your eye vis-a-vis the mega development projects that are taking place at the moment?
Well, the mega projects, I think we are very happy that the power sector is doing very well. They have completed the Kerawala-Pittiya and Noricholai. Then similarly, I think the harbour projects are also very impressive. Lots of work is happening. The road projects are also going ahead, although they are not keeping to time, but the projects are going on, and I think it's a very healthy sign.
Still on the subject of the construction of highways, some of which are underway and seems to be a top priority for the incumbent administration. In fact, it only recently announced that some 12 billion rupees is being allocated for this purpose this year alone. The RDA has swung into action, and we're also getting bilateral agencies like the ADB helping us out. How confident are you that issues like congestion, traffic management, parking facilities and all the other challenges that ensue will be resolved in the medium term?
To answer your question, even with the investment, I cannot see a major impact because you can see the state of the roads at the moment. They are not wide enough to sort of speed up the traffic. So therefore, what they will do is only upgrading of the same road. So therefore, the traffic congestion will remain, and that is something that I think we should the government should look at of a different concept. A new concept is the network of expressways. If you have a network of expressways connecting and also railways connecting to the major nodal points of the country, so therefore then there will be a load off the main roads. I think the expertise in Sri Lanka for setting up expressways is not there. If a 3-year project goes for 6 years, a Katunayaka project goes on for 12 years. So therefore, I mean, I don't think there is the experts that we have are competent enough to handle this type of thing. So therefore, we must get some foreign expertise here. Although I am anti-foreign, I would say that in a situation like this, you have to get the best. Until our experts are trained, our engineers are trained, because most of our engineers perhaps are working in Malaysia. So we must and get them back and also get the best experts. So therefore, the cost overruns will be less, time overruns will be less. So therefore, there will be a lot of advantages, and I think that's the way forward.
So what are the pros and cons of Colombo's development? We are going to see very soon a mini city being planned on reclaimed land.
I just returned from Singapore and I saw the Marina Bay Sands development. They have reclaimed the sea, and the development has come up extremely well. They have invested on the hotel complex alone something like $8 billion US, $8 billion US, and they are planning to recover the cost of that investment in 5 to 6 years. So therefore, if we are reclaiming 300 acres of land at a huge cost, then I think we should also think of a development that can justify that investment. Going back to the local scene is picking up. I mean, the Shangri-La Hotel is a good startup project. Then we are ourselves involved in 3 towers at Union Place for John Keels. The Havelock City second phase is also online. Things are happening, but on a project by project basis. Now, this is the sad part of it. You see, there is no comprehensive plan. So the challenge should be for the government to have a planned development as against this project-oriented development, so that when investors, particularly from foreign countries, when they come here, they would like to know where the land is. But I don't think that such a thing is so far being established.
We'll take a quick break now for some messages from our sponsors, and when we return, we ask Deshubandhu Surath Wickramasinghe what could be done to remedy the woeful state of our public transport. Stay tuned. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching the Big Picture Business program, and we continue with more views and insights from Deshubandhu Surath Wickramasinghe. You have spoken in recent times about the government's efforts to clear city slums and actually relocate them for something like 75,000 housing units. You have in fact commended this effort, but you have also criticized the haphazard manner in which it is being done. There's something like 1,000 acres of prime land that can, this is what you called it, be liberated for development purposes. You would like Colombo to be one of those modern cities with all the trappings that are required for business and leisure, and I'm sure most of us feel that way too. But is this going to be a pipe dream at the end of the day?
I think the process has started. I think the Secretary of Defense is very keen, and in fact, he's been talking to us on how to get the slums relocated and also to get investment. And also he has introduced this new concept of, since the government are unable to give government guarantees, so on investment they give land as guarantees. Now that's a extremely good idea. So lots of prime lands are available in Slave Island, in Kolpiti, in lots of other areas with good views of the sea and the water. So I think if this concept is quickly, what shall I say, established, and the developers made aware of this idea, I think there will be much more positive response from the investors, because everybody who comes, and I've been discussing with them certain properties, so they are willing to invest that money, because the government says that they will also give interest on the investment during that period. I think it is possible to relocate these people, but it must happen. I mean, at the moment it's very slow, but if it could be streamlined and fast-tracked, I think at least 500 acres could be liberated where you can build a new city, which I think is what Colombo needs.
So for Colombo to be a world-class city, public transport must surely be at the top of the agenda. However, we have a woeful public transport that I'm sure everyone will agree on. We've been promised various things, including a monorail some time ago, probably an underground service even, but little seems to be done where public transport is concerned.
We urgently require a public transport system, particularly for the Western Province, because the population is nearly 3-4 million. So therefore, it can also justify a good public transport system. I think the government's plan is to have a light rail. Light rail is better than the monorail. Monorail can only carry few passengers, but a light rail can really carry much more. Like in Malaysia, they have it, and lots of other countries have it. And it's also economical to have it, and you can also have it above the roads. At least quickly phase out, have a plan of action, so that the urgent areas can be catered. Because otherwise, you know, with the bus, and we can reduce the number of buses and vans and various other environmentally, you know, polluting units. I can't talk for the government, but I think they should give this priority.
So let's move to another part of the country where for a long time there was no development taking place at all, the north and the east. Now, are you happy with the pace and the extent of development that's taking place in the north and the east, and have we got our priorities right?
The government is doing a lot of work, and also the private sector is doing a lot of work. I mean, particularly the financial sector. Financial sector is there in a big way. But now again, I go back to that involvement of our chamber and also other chambers as well. We must identify in the north and the east certain action projects, that these are priorities, and then we must all work together. Then I think we can realize it. Otherwise, if the government doesn't talk to us as it is now, then we can't help.
We've been talking about Singapore, we've been talking about Malaysia, about India, about Chennai. What is your vision for Colombo and for Sri Lanka? What would you like our land and our commercial capital to look like in 10 years' time?
10 years from now, I think it has to be green. Green with this energy saving concepts happening, so that we are also in keeping with the other rest of the world, pushing this type of idea. But I think developing the country, I think we have to have different concepts. Now we are having one BOI here, but the development is supposed to be all over the country. So therefore, I think we should decentralize. The Colombo factor, I think that state-of-the-art city is very vital. That's what I'd like to see. And the expressway network into the whole country, so that people can commute very fast, and then there will be balanced development happening all over. So I think those are the dreams, and I hope we can see it in the next 10 years or 15 years.
And that concludes our interview with Deshabandhu Surath Wickramasinghe. It's time now for a quick break for some messages from our sponsors. When we come back, we ask the Managing Director of the Nielsen Company Lanka, Shaheen Kader, whether the LMD Nielsen Business Confidence Index will remain on cloud 9 for long. Stay with us.